You know what the going on. What's going on, my good people? This your boy Life of the Entertainer, here to bring you some action with Tennessee State University and Alabama A&M. This is going to be very unique to see these two bands go at it. That's going to be very, very cool to see. Okay? Now, Tennessee State is in my independent bracket. Okay? Last year, I didn't get a chance to really grade the independent bracket, but I did finish their season out for Tennessee State. So if you want to see their old videos from when I graded them in the past, please click on the link above. Okay? One thing I would say about Tennessee State, and with them being an independent bracket, I will get to them, but they be the last band the last section I'll be going into. So that will be going into a tier list system. So when you see a record underneath the band, that's what that goes into for those who are new to my channel. And if you're new, hit that like and subscribe button. It means so much to me because I will be getting to your band very soon. Sooner or later. Alright, so it's going to be interesting, man. One thing I would say about Tennessee State, and one thing I like about Tennessee State, and I'm going to talk about Alabama A&M next, but if it wasn't for Tennessee State, when I saw them go against UAPB, I wouldn't have a creative department in my scale. Okay? Tennessee State made me develop a creative department for my scale. So, shout out to this band. This band got it out of me. They made me want to put a creative patch in my scale. Okay? So, thank you, Tennessee State. Okay? Now, as far as Alabama A&M is concerned, Alabama A&M, they can work wonders on the field. They just have to stay consistent. But they also hit hard in the fifth, too. So I don't know what to expect from either band organization. So I don't know. This might be a tight battle. I do not know. But I am excited for the ride. You feel me? I'm real excited for the ride. Alright, so we got halftime footage and we got fifth quarter footage. So I'm going to grade them both, okay? Now, one thing I would like to add as far as this battle is concerned, okay? As far as Alabama A&M is concerned, they did not record their field show in their particular channel for some strange reason. Tennessee State did get theirs, but Alabama A&M did not. Okay, so just to give y'all fair warning, this is not me showing favoritism to either band, okay, because I went with the HD footage for Tennessee State. This person did not have Tennessee State's footage, so you kind of get what I'm getting at. If I had the exact same footage for both, I would rock with that, okay? So just want to throw that out there as well, but, at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure I get the battle fully so people can understand who won, all right? And that's what that's about, okay? So just giving y'all fair warning when it comes down to that, okay? So y'all won't think that I'm just choosing favorites or anything like that, okay? It's all love. It's all love, okay? So with that being said, look to the cards next to me so you know we'll be grading. We're grading entrance, songs, formation, dances, breakdown, overall creativity. Maximum points they can make all together is 25. With the extra incentive, they can possibly round into a possible 30. My expectations for the field show. For entrance, I'm expecting it to look clean with the drum majors. The band comes off on the field clean. Songs, if the band is stationary and not marching, I will expect the sound to sound clean, not shaky. So if something sounds off, I'm going to talk off in that department. When it comes down to formations, I'm looking for symmetry, 8 to 5. I'm looking for their pinwheels to look clean. I'm looking for them to pick up their legs up because they are our marching band. Okay? When it comes down to dancers, the dancers, if they look clean, they look like they got their energy, they don't look like they off or look like they're second guessing, stunts go well, then yes, they do good. Breakdown, I'm expecting at least 3 breakdown features from both bands. At least 3. Okay? Anything underneath that, I will take off. Also, if it's not clean in the department or they do not have the energy, some people are lacking in energy, I will take off for that as well. Okay? So, I explain my expectations. I don't want to hear nothing else about it in the comment section. So, with that being said, let's get to it. Tennessee State's first. majority of the creative points that way. We got some 8 to 5 issues here. We have some small step off issues coming into this. We got a feature. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, let's give it a grade, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it a grade. Alright. So, very entertaining field show, but I can tell this is the beginning of the season as well. So, just want to throw that out there. This is the beginning of the season. Alright? So, entrance. I'm going to give entrance a 3. Songs a 5. Formations a 4. Dancers a 4. Breakdown a 5. Creativity a 5. Okay? Not bad. Not bad at all for it to be the beginning of the season. Not bad at all. Okay, let's give it a grade. Let's see how much they made, and I'm going to give my critique on it. They got them a 26. They got a 26 on that one. So it was almost a passing grade for me. They missed it by 1 point. And I'm going to explain why. Okay. Now the entrance was very good. They got a lot of the creative points in the entrance. The thing is, it was lacking it being clean. There were some parts when you could tell the drum majors were kind of foreshadowing what needs to be next. And so you could tell that kind of threw them off a little bit as far as them trying to do what they needed to do. Now, as far as the songs is good, the songs was phenomenal. I enjoyed the songs. I had no complaints about the songs. Formations, there was some step-off issues going into certain parts of the drill. Okay, so there were just some step-off issues. It's not nothing too major, but there were just the small things they could have fixed in that. Okay, now when it comes down to the dancers were pretty much doing their thing. I just felt like there was some parts, there was some stunts that could have gone a little bit better. Also, it was just could have been just a little bit cleaner in some parts, but you know, it wasn't bad. Okay, so they got a 4 on that one. Okay, creativity, they did good, and breakdown, they did phenomenal. Okay, so at the end of the day, I just think that, you know, they just need to just sprucing up on the small things. Now, granted, this won't be the last time I see their field shows. I know Tennessee State can do a lot, so no complaints from Tennessee State. I would just say that they just need to fix those small things. Now, they can't do nothing about it now because this is the beginning of the season, but you kind of get what I'm getting at, like, you know what to look for later, you know. But very good. Very, very good. Not bad. Alrighty. Moving on to Alabama A&M, okay? Now, we got a side view of this, okay? We got a little small side view of this, so I do not know what to expect from Alabama A&M, but I'm excited, okay? So, with that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It means so much to me. Let's get to it. Whoa. It's that Get a nice scramble.
It's time to take a ride on the freeway of fun. OT Genesis, Young LA, Chris Brown, MMW. Let's make it happen for the people.
Alrighty, let's get that at a grade. Whew, Alabama A&M put some work in, fam. They did. Alright, let's give it a grade. So, entrance is a 5. Songs is a 5. Formations, I'm going to give them a 5. Dancers, I'm going to give them a 5. Breakdown, I'm going to give them a 4. Creativity, I'm going to give them a 5. Okay? They end up getting a 29. Almost a perfect and almost a perfect 30. Not bad at all, Alabama A&M. Okay? Very, very strong performance for it to be the beginning of the season. Okay? Very, very strong. Very, very, very strong. Okay? So, you know, one thing I would say, the only critique I had as far as the breakdown is that I felt like it could be a little bit more energy. I feel like there can be some clarity issues as far as some of the dance moves is concerned. You know, I felt like it was some clutteredness as well. But besides that, it was straight. They had a phenomenal field show. A phenomenal field show. So I'm not mad at Alabama A&M at all on that one. At all. Okay? So, let's give it a current standings. Current standings right now as we speak right now. Current standings, ladies and gentlemen. Current standings. Right now as we speak, Alabama A&M is up by 3 points. Count them, 3 points. Okay? That's a nice little lead going into fifth quarter. Okay? Alabama A&M is up by 3 points. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that can't change in fifth. That can all change in fifth by a couple bad mistakes in as far as song selections, you name it. So that can definitely change in fifth. So I don't know what to expect at all in this. Okay, at all. So if you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, I would like to extend the invitation for my membership program. If you're alumni for any one of these bands and you would like to see some old footage of your band, or especially if you in your heyday, or if you are a percussionist, I grade exclusive percussion content in there. I will go into detail about that in the link above. So please click on the link above so you can get more details on that. It's only $2 a month. Again, only $2 a month. Also, if you'd like to donate to the channel, you can. All you have to do is just simply hit that thank you tab below, and all proceeds are going to me affording YouTube Premium. After I get YouTube Premium, I am working on me trying to do exclusive band content shirts. Okay, so just merchandise that I know that y'all would appreciate. I have some great ideas for some marching band content shirts, okay, or merch rather. So if you like that, please consider donating. Okay, so with that being said, we're moving on to fifth quarter. Okay, now fifth quarter is a little bit different, because we are grading a couple things. Okay, and so I would like to let y'all know there's no favoritism involved, so please do not get in y'all feelings about these grades at all. Please do not do it. This is my opinion and my opinion alone, so that's what I'm going to bring y'all today. Okay? At the end of the day, it's all love here, and what I can catch is what I can catch. What I don't. This is my first initial reaction to the footage. Okay? I might miss a couple notes here and there. Sometimes I might hear the notes. You never know. But don't bash your boy. Okay? That's all I'm asking. So, with that being said, please look to the cards next to you so you know we'll be grading. For fifth quarter, we're grading sound selection, power, articulation, arrangement, overall cleanness. Maximum points they can make all together is 50. Okay? A lot of that is kind of self-explanatory. I'm not going by individual sections. I'm just grading the band overall. Okay? So, I just need them to sound clean and consistent, and I will give a band praise. But sometimes bandsmen can't do it, and bands can't do it because of their band director. So you get what I'm getting at. So I'm hoping that nobody skates in this and that they can bring that intensity, because this is going to be a tight battle, hopefully. All right? So with that being said, I'm going to shut up. Let's get into the action. We're going to use the aristocrat of bands footage. Yes, Tennessee State, we're going to use y'all footage. So let's get to it. Smacking them bitches. Let's go. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh man, like it's something about that man. It's so I even mouth slipped on it. That's how crucial it was, bruh. That's one of them. Like you gotta have a stink face when they get done with it, bruh. Dog, they were coming with that intensity. That's how you start a battle off right there with that intensity, dog. Woo! All right, moving on.
Spectre.
Great shot.
Woo! All right, let's get at a grade. Yes, Tennessee State, that was nice, man. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh man, they pen was all over that bitch, bruh. They pen was all over that mug, bruh. For real. Yes. Yes, that was nice, bruh. That pen was crucial on that. Okay. Yes, that's the type of stuff that gets me hyped right there. That's the type of stuff that gets me hyped right there, man. I ain't gonna lie to you on that one. Woo, that was nice. Alright, moving on. Alright, let's get at a grade. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. Not bad. Not bad at all. I just think there was just some small parts that can be a little bit cleaner. There was just some muddy parts in there, just little small muddy parts in there, but not bad, not bad at all. You know, just they just need to just work on it, just attacking just a little bit in that, but it was good. It was good. No true complaints after that. Moving on. Alright, let's get at a grade. Song selections 10, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanness is a 9. Almost a perfect. Almost perfect. The reason why I say it's almost a perfect, I just feel like there was just some small parts that can be just a tad bit tighter. You know, besides that, it was cool. It was cool. I just felt like it was just little small parts in there, you know. Especially when they go to each section, you know, you have some people kind of slightly hanging over just a little bit. But besides that, that was cool. Alright, moving on. I'm gonna bring it back. Song selections 10, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanness I'm gonna give him a 9. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. It's there, but it's not there, if that makes sense. I feel like there could be some parts that can be a little bit better than what they were giving me. So if they can give me just a little bit more, I think they'd be straight. Okay? Moving on. Okay, Tennessee State. Woo! Woo! Let's get that a grade. Yeah. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh man, that pen. That pen was crucial, and I gotta give him a little pen for that too. That's something for me too, man. That's something on my hidden list I would write for a band. Wow. Very, very nice arrangement of that piece right there. Yes, indeed. They did that. If Miss Badu heard that, she would probably lose her mind. But yeah, that was nice. That was nice. That was nice. At the moment, as we speak, I got Tennessee State up by 1 point in this battle. As we speak, in this battle. Fifth quarter, rather. That was pretty, boy. Woo, that was pretty. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh, man. That was nice. Song selections 10, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanest, I'm going to give them a 9. Almost a perfect. There was some parts in there I feel like they can be just a tad bit tighter, if that makes sense. I feel like it could be a tad bit tighter. That's it. I mean, but for the majority, it was straight hitting. Straight hitting. I just feel like there could be some parts just a little bit tighter. A little bit tighter. Moving on. Alright, let's get at a grade. Song selections 10, powers 10, articulations 10, arrangements 10, cleanest, I'm going to give them a 9. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. I just felt like some runs can be a tad bit tighter. There was some parts at the beginning when I feel like it can be a little bit cleaner as well. Just some more of the run parts. I feel like the run parts can just be just a tad bit better. Just a tad bit better. Alrighty, moving on. That was a complicated piece for now. That was a complicated piece for now. Alright. Song selections 10, powers 10, articulation, I'm going to give them a 9. Arrangements 10, cleanest, I'm going to give them a 9. They got a 48 on that one. A 48. Strong piece, but I feel like it could be tighter. Tacking issues as well. You got to hit those phrases just right. You know, and cleanest, you know, it's just some muddy parts in there. Even though it was short, that pen was lovely on that too, by the way. But I just feel like there's some stuff they can do just a tad bit better on that. But it's close. It's close. Moving on. Song selection's 10, power's 10, articulation's 10, arrangement's 10, cleanness, I'm going to give them a 9. Almost a perfect. Almost a perfect. Tubas can be just a slab bit better, and I felt like those runs can be just a tad bit better. But besides that, it was decent. It was decent. So I can't get mad at that one. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So, yeah. Yeah. Moving on. That was nice. That was real nice. Yeah. Give that shit a Ric Flair moment. Woo! Oh man, that was nice. That was real nice right there. Yeah. That was real nice right there. I likes that. That was nice. That was real nice. I think that was their last one too, so Tennessee State's gonna close us out on this one. So this will be the official round, last round. Song selection's 10. Power is 10. Articulation, I'm gonna give them a 9. Arrangement's 10. Cleanness, I'm gonna give them a 9. Alrighty. So when we got to that last song, I felt like it could be way cleaner. With some people were sneaking in as well. There was some attacking issues, and some of the runs can be cleaner. Okay, so it's not bad. You just gotta really work for it to get there. Now again, this is the beginning of the semester, so it's nothing they can do about it now. But you get what I'm getting at. Is what it is on that. Alrighty. Now, we want to know who won this battle, okay? So, give me just a little bit to calculate this up, and then we'll find out who wins, okay? So, the results I got in, I had to do some calculating up, but, as a result of the battle, Alabama A&M beat Tennessee State by 3 points. 3-point difference, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama A&M won this battle, okay? And I'm going to explain why. All right. So when we go into this initial battle, when we look at the halftime, Alabama A&M was up by 3 points, count of 3 points. Now when we got to the fifth quarter, okay, they were pretty much neck and neck majority of the battle. But I would say that they was not able to capitalize like they could have in the battle as well. Okay, so but Alabama A&M was just slightly stronger than them going into this battle, and that's what made the difference. Okay, that's what made the initial difference in this battle. Okay, the Tennessee State had the lead, but that made them close that gap further on that last song. That last song hurt them. Okay, that last song hurt them. I felt like if that last song would have been tighter, it probably would have been a two, or maybe even a tie, maybe a tie, a 1 point lead or a tie. So it was close. It was close, but I gotta give it to Alabama A&M. Gotta give this battle to Alabama A&M. That's my verdict. Now, if you're part of the Alabama A&M family, this goes into my series for the SWAC tier list. So I only got one more thing to grade from y'all, and because I pretty much graded majority of y'all stuff on this down season when I was grading other bands, and y'all, I was just had y'all in the mix because y'all was going against those bands. So only thing I got to grade is when y'all did that little mega band battle with Miles and all them. So be looking out for that battle. That's a lot. That's gonna be a long battle for me to grade because I'm grading like 4 to 5 bands in that mug. So that's gonna be crucial. But after that, that's gonna be their official record for the season. Okay. But this was nice. Now, if you're part of the Tennessee State University's band, again, I might be able to see y'all sooner or later. But I know that y'all bracket will be the last bracket I will be able to get to based off of y'all voting. Okay, nobody voted for the independent bracket, so y'all will be the last set of bands I will be grading. So it's Tennessee State, NCAT. There's a couple other bands that's in that bracket. Langston, those are in the independent bracket. So you kind of get what I'm getting at when it comes down to that. So, but I'm going to get up out of here, man. I want to give a special shout out to my channel member. Thank you so much for being part of this family. And don't forget, you can be a member too. All you got to do is just hit that join tab below, and you can be a part of the membership program. Again, it's only $2 a month. Okay? So with that being said, man, I'm finna get up out of here, man. Like I tell you always, deuces.